All right, so we're diving into the world of trading, but we're not just talking about, buy low, sell high, right? We're going deeper into the psychology behind it all, like all the courage, the passion, the resilience you actually need to make it work.
Yeah, it's interesting because the source you've got doesn't really pit the psychological stuff against the technical stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's arguing that they have to work together, like having the guts to actually follow through on your analysis.
Uh,
That's what really makes the difference.
so like you can have this killer game plan, but then totally freeze up when you're on the field.
Exactly. And that's where courage comes in, And the source breaks it down into two key aspects for traders.
Okay.
First, taking calculated risks. Because even with all the analysis in the world, there's always that element of uncertainty.
Right, because if you wait for like 100% certainty, you're probably going to miss every opportunity.
That's a great point.
Mm,
It's about weighing the potential rewards against the risks you're actually comfortable taking.
yeah.
And the second aspect of courage is, according to the text, is facing those inevitable losses.
Ouch. Yeah, no one likes to talk about that part.
Right.
But I guess it just comes with the territory.
It does. And the source argues that successful traders don't just shrug off losses.
Okay.
They actually analyze what went wrong, they
Mm.
adjust their strategy, and they don't let fear paralyze them.
Yeah, so it's like turning that mistake into a learning moment.
Exactly.
My first big trading loss, oh man, it was devastating, but it forced me to like reevaluate my whole approach to risk.
Yeah.
Turns out I was way over leveraged and hadn't really thought through my exit strategy.
Yeah.
Painful lesson, but valuable.
That's a perfect example of what the source is talking about, turning that oops moment into an aha moment,
Right.
which is where resilience really kicks in. It's not
Yes.
just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing back smarter.
Okay, so we've got courage as this like foundation,
Yeah.
but some might say anyone can just take risks, you know?
Yeah.
What about passion? Doesn't that play a role too?
Absolutely. The source argues it's the fuel that drives traders to constantly learn, monitor the market, obsess over charts.
Hmm.
Basically to just stay ahead of the game.
Some people might say, well, that's just greed, just wanting to make money.
Right.
Does the source address that?
It does. It actually distinguishes between wanting to make money and being deeply fascinated by the markets themselves.
Oh,
It profiles this famous trader who practically sleeps with charts under his pillow.
wow.
His passion is less about riches and more about solving the puzzle of market movement.
So passion as like this intellectual curiosity
Yeah.
driving you to constantly improve.
Yeah.
I like that. But trading isn't all sunshine and rainbows, right? There are setbacks, moments you just want to quit.
Of course.
How does the source tackle that?
It brings up resilience again, but this time focusing on emotional control. You know, Trading can be a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Huge highs, crushing lows. If you let your emotions dictate every move, you're in trouble.
So it's not just about knowing when to buy or sell, it's about managing your own headspace while you're doing it.
Precisely. The source recommends techniques like mindfulness meditation, even keeping a trading journal to track your emotional responses to wins and losses.
So you can spot patterns in your own behavior like, oh, every time the market dips, I panic sell, even if it goes against my analysis.
Exactly. That self-awareness is crucial, and it ties back to courage, too. The courage to stick to your plan, even when your gut is screaming otherwise.
This is starting to feel like a recipe for success. Courage, passion, resilience. What else is in the mix?
The source argues that none of it works without this next ingredient, patience.
Okay.
And this might be the hardest one for many traders to swallow.
Patience, I get it in life generally, but in trading,
Yeah.
isn't it all about seizing the moment?
Well, the source uses a great analogy.
Mm-hmm.
A fisherman doesn't just cast their line anywhere.
Yeah.
They wait for the right spot, the right conditions.
So you're saying patience in trading isn't about being passive, it's about waiting for the setup that actually aligns with your analysis.
You got it. The source gives this example. You've spotted a stock that your analysis says is undervalued,
Okay.
but the price is just crawling along.
Uh-huh.
Impatient traders might bail thinking they were wrong,
Right.
only to miss out when it eventually explodes upwards.
Ah, so patience isn't just about avoiding losses, it's about maximizing gains by not cutting your wins short.
Precisely. And the source suggests developing specific rules for entry and exit,
Okay.
so you're not swayed by that short-term market noise.
This is all making sense, but it seems very touchy-feely so far.
Right.
Where does the hard data, the actual number crunching come in?
That's where technical analysis comes in. Imagine trying to read a foreign language without understanding the alphabet.
Right.
That's trading without technical analysis.
Okay, so it's like the language of the market
Yeah,
allowing us to decipher what the charts are actually saying.
exactly. Your source actually starts with a very simple chart pattern called the head and shoulders. Imagine three peaks. The middle one, the head is the highest.
Hmm.
The two on either side, the shoulders, are roughly equal.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
But what does this tell a trader?
It's often seen as a bearish signal, meaning the price might be about to drop when the price falls below the neckline, which is a support level connecting the lows between the head and shoulders.
All right.
It suggests that sellers are taking over.
So if I spot that pattern, maybe hold off on buying or even consider shorting the stock.
You got it, though. The source is careful to say no single pattern is foolproof.
Right.
It's one piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture.
Okay, so far we've got courage, passion, resilience, patience, and this technical analysis side.
Yeah.
It's a lot to juggle.
And that's exactly the point the source makes next. It's not about these things in isolation. It's about how they work together.
Okay.
It gives 5 key points on how to integrate them all.
All right, let's dive into those 5 points.
Okay, so the first one is creating a trading strategy that's actually aligned with you, your strengths and weaknesses.
So like self-awareness is the first step to building a solid trading plan.
Exactly. And the second point emphasizes that this isn't a set it and forget it kind of deal.
Right.
You have to constantly be improving, learning from both wins and losses, adapting as you gain experience.
That resonates with me. I used to think that once you had a strategy, you just stuck to it no matter what.
Yeah,
But the market is always changing, so you have to be flexible, right?
absolutely. And that flexibility requires resilience, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
The third point focuses on discipline, that bridge between your plan and your actual trades.
Okay.
It's about having the courage to stick to your rules even when things get emotional.
Which can be incredibly tough, especially when fear or greed kick in.
Right, does the source offer any advice on how to cultivate that discipline?
Yeah.
It suggests developing a pre-trade checklist, almost like a pilot going through pre-flight checks, making sure you're entering trades based on your analysis, not on impulse or emotion.
Right.
And it emphasizes the importance of a support network. Other traders, mentors, people who get it.
So it's not just you versus the market, it's acknowledging the human element of trading,
Yes.
leaning on others for support and insight.
Exactly.
That makes sense. What's the fourth point?
It brings up mindfulness and emotional regulation, again, suggesting practices like meditation, deep breathing, anything to help you stay calm and focused amidst the market chaos.
So it's not about becoming an emotionless robot, but about being aware of your emotions and not letting them control your trading decisions.
Precisely. And the final point the source makes is that this integration of psychology and technical analysis isn't just a nice to have. It's crucial for long-term success.
Wow, it's amazing how the source connects these seemingly disparate elements, the courage to take risks, the passion to keep learning, the resilience to bounce back, the patience to wait for the right moment, and then the technical analysis skills to make it all happen.
And what's especially interesting is that the source doesn't shy away from the human side of it all, acknowledging that traders are not robots.
Right.
We're emotional beings, and those emotions can significantly impact our decisions for better or for worse.
Totally. I remember reading a study that showed that experienced traders often make worse decisions under stress than newbies who are still learning the ropes.
Wow.
It's like the more you know, the more pressure you feel.
That's precisely why cultivating emotional resilience and mindfulness is so important. It's about learning to manage those inevitable moments of stress and anxiety so they don't completely derail your trading plan.
So it's not just about mastering the technical stuff, it's about mastering yourself.
Exactly. And that mastery comes from self-awareness, discipline, and a willingness to constantly learn and adapt, which brings us back to courage. The courage to face your weaknesses, to acknowledge your mistakes, and to keep pushing forward even when the market tests your limits.
That's a really powerful way to put it. It's about embracing the journey with all its ups and downs, knowing that growth as a trader is an ongoing process. This has been so eye-opening. It's like we're getting a glimpse behind the curtain, seeing the psychological side of trading that so many people overlook.
Absolutely. And what's particularly cool is how this source emphasizes finding your way to trade.
Oh.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. It's about figuring out what works for you based on your personality, your risk tolerance, your goals.
Exactly. And that brings us to a crucial question. The source implicitly raises, how can you identify your personal strengths and weaknesses as a trader? What are your natural inclinations?
That's such a good point. It's like holding up a mirror and being brutally honest about what you bring to the table, the good and the bad.
It's about asking yourself, am I naturally risk averse? Or do I jump into trades head first? Do I get rattled by every market dip? Or am I patient and methodical?
So it's about becoming a student of yourself just as much as you're a student of the market.
You got it. And the more you understand your own psychology, the better you'll be at building a plan that plays to your strengths, mitigates your weaknesses, and helps you achieve your goals.
This is all incredibly insightful. It feels like we've been handed this personalized toolkit, but now we need to figure out which tools to use and how to use them effectively.
You're absolutely right. Creating a personalized trading plan is a journey of self-discovery, and it starts with defining your trading goals.
Right, because your goals will shape your entire approach. What are you actually hoping to achieve? Short-term gains, long-term wealth, building something else entirely?
Exactly. Once you have a clear vision of your objectives, you can start to assess your risk tolerance. How much are you comfortably willing to lose on any given trade? This is where that self-awareness we talked about earlier becomes absolutely crucial. Be honest with yourself about your emotional capacity for handling losses.
And don't forget about passion. Sometimes passion can make us blind to risk. We get so excited about a potential trade that we overlook the potential downsides.
That's a really good point. It's crucial to balance that passion with a healthy dose of realism. And once you have a good grasp on your risk tolerance, you can start exploring different trading strategies and see which ones actually fit your personality and your goals.
So it's like trying on different hats to see which one fits best.
I like that analogy. Some traders thrive on the fast-paced world of day trading, while others prefer the more patient approach of swing trading or even long-term investing. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's about finding what feels right for you.
And this is where technical analysis comes back into the picture, right? Helping you identify potential trading opportunities based on your chosen strategy.
Exactly. Technical analysis provides the framework for making informed decisions. It's like having a roadmap that guides you through the market's twists and turns. But remember, technical analysis is just one piece of the puzzle. You also need to factor in your psychological makeup, your risk tolerance, and those overall trading goals.
It's like we're bringing together the art and science of trading, blending the analytical with the intuitive.
Beautifully put. And as you develop your trading plan, don't forget those psychological tools we discussed. Courage, passion, resilience, patience, discipline. They'll be your constant companions on this journey.
It's like we've been given a secret weapon, a mental edge, that can help us navigate the often turbulent waters of the market.
I love that imagery. And as you embark on your trading journey, remember that success isn't just about making money, it's about growth, self-discovery, and that continuous pursuit of mastery.
Wise words to end on. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of trading psychology and technical analysis. Until next time, happy trading. It really feels like we're talking about two sides of the same coin, you know? You can't have successful trading without both the psychology and the technical skills.
And that's where this source really stands out. It doesn't just give you like a laundry list of traits.
Right.
It gives you concrete ways to actually integrate them into your actual trading process.
Okay, so let's go back to those 5 points. The first one was about tailoring your strategy to your strengths and weaknesses. Any tips on how to actually do that?
Well, the source suggests starting with a brutally honest self-assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Are you naturally impulsive? Do you get overly attached to your positions? Do you chase losses or cut winners too early?
Ouch, that's getting a little too personal, but I guess if you're not honest with yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Exactly. And once you've identified those tendencies, you can start building rules into your trading plan that act as safeguards.
Okay.
For example, if you're prone to impulsive trades, maybe you implement a rule that you have to wait 24 hours before acting on a trade idea.
So you're forcing yourself to step back, let the emotions cool down, and look at the situation objectively.
That's the idea. And the second point about continuous improvement ties into this beautifully. The source emphasizes the importance of reviewing your trades, both wins and losses, to identify patterns and refine your approach.
So it's like treating every trade as a learning opportunity, regardless of the outcome.
Precisely. And that learning process should never end. The market is constantly evolving, so you need to evolve with it.
Okay, so self-awareness, continuous improvement. What about point number 3?
Discipline. The source argues that discipline is the bridge between your well-crafted plan and your actual trading decisions. It's about having the mental fortitude to stick to your rules, even when the market throws you a curveball.
Which, let's face it, happens all the time in trading. There's always that temptation to deviate from the plan, especially when emotions are running high.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why the source suggests techniques for cultivating discipline, like visualization. Imagine yourself successfully executing your plan, even in challenging market conditions.
Interesting. So you're mentally rehearsing for those high-pressure moments, training your mind to stay focused and disciplined.
Precisely. And remember, that support network we talked about earlier, this is where it can really come in handy.
Yeah.
Having a mentor or a trading buddy who can hold you accountable to your plan can make a huge difference.
It's like having that friend who talks you out of making a bad decision when you're about to do something impulsive, but in a trading context. I like that.
Exactly. And that brings us to the fourth point, which circles back to mindfulness and emotional regulation.
Ah, yes. Keeping a cool head when things heat up, any specific techniques the source recommends for developing that inner zen?
It goes beyond just meditation or deep breathing exercises. It suggests incorporating mindfulness into your everyday trading routine. For example, paying attention to your physical sensations when you're about to make a trade.
Interesting. So, like noticing if your heart is racing, your palms are sweaty, those could be signs that you're letting emotions cloud your judgment.
Exactly. By becoming more attuned to those physical cues, you can start to recognize when emotions are taking over and take a step back before making a potentially impulsive decision.
So, it's almost like you're training yourself to become a more objective observer of your own thoughts and feelings.
Precisely. And the final point the source emphasizes is that this integration of psychology and technical analysis isn't just some abstract concept. It has tangible, real-world implications for your bottom line.
Okay, so let's talk practical application. How can someone actually put all of this together into a personalized trading plan? Where do they even begin?
Well, the source breaks it down into a few key steps. First, define your trading style. Are you a scalper, a day trader, a swing trader, or a long-term investor?
Right, because each style comes with its own set of demands, its own psychological challenges.
Exactly. Once you've identified your style, you need to define your risk management strategy. Right. This is crucial, and it should be tailored to your personal risk tolerance.
So things like setting stop-loss orders, determining your position sizing, knowing when to cut your losses and let your profits run.
Precisely. And remember, risk management isn't just about minimizing losses. It's about protecting your mental capital as well. Knowing that you have a solid risk management plan in place can help you stay calm and focused even when the market gets choppy.
Makes sense. So you've got your style, your risk management plan. What else is essential?
The source highlights the importance of developing a trading system, which is essentially your set of rules for entering and exiting trades. This system should be based on your chosen style, your risk tolerance, and your technical analysis skills.
Right. So it's like having a predefined roadmap that helps you navigate the markets even when things get emotional.
Exactly. And this system should be constantly evolving as you gain experience and learn more about the markets and yourself as a trader.
It's all starting to come together. Now we've gone from these broad psychological concepts to concrete steps you can take to build a solid trading plan.
And remember, this plan isn't just about making money. It's about creating a sustainable approach to trading that aligns with your personality, your goals, and your risk tolerance.
So it's about building a system that works for you in the long run.
Precisely. And that brings us to another crucial question. How do you actually measure your success as a trader? Is it just about profits, or is there more to it than that?
That's a really good question because if you're constantly stressed out, chasing every trade, even if you're making money, is that really success?
Well, the source argues that true success in trading goes beyond just financial gains. It's about finding a balance between profitability, risk management, and your overall well-being.
So it's about creating a trading experience that's sustainable both financially and emotionally.
Exactly. And that might mean prioritizing consistency over hitting home runs, focusing on steady growth rather than trying to get rich quick.
It's about playing the long game, not just chasing short-term profit.
Precisely. And that long-term perspective requires patience, discipline, and that resilience we've been talking about throughout this deep dive.
It's incredible how everything keeps tying back to those core psychological traits. It really highlights how interconnected they are to trading success.
And that interconnectedness is what makes this source so valuable. It gives you the tools to not only understand the markets, but also to understand yourself as a trader.
Okay, so we've covered so much ground already, the psychology, the technicals, even like the overall market vibe.
Right.
But there's this one piece that feels like the bridge between knowledge and action, you know?
Oh, you're talking about execution, right? It actually putting those trades on,
Yes.
managing them in real time, that's where all this prep work really meets the rubber of the road.
Exactly, because you can have the best trading plan in the world, but if you can't actually execute it effectively, it's all for nothing.
You're absolutely right. And the source dedicates a whole section to this, highlighting the psychological challenges that come with execution.
So like even if you've identified a great trade setup,
Yeah,
your emotions can still like get in the way.
Absolutely. The source talks about fear of missing out or FOMO,
Right.
which can push traders to jump into trades prematurely without confirming their signals.
Oh, I've definitely been there, seeing the price take off and thinking I need to get in now before it's too late,
Oh,
even if it like completely contradicts my strategy.
that's a classic example of FOMO in action.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, there's the fear of actually pulling the trigger,
Oh,
even when all your signals are aligned.
so you're basically frozen by indecision,
Yeah,
second guessing yourself at the worst possible moment.
exactly. The source calls this analysis paralysis. And it can be just as detrimental as FOMO.
It's like you're stuck in this mental tug of war
Uh-huh.
with fear and greed pulling you in opposite directions.
Yeah.
How do you break free from that?
The source suggests a few powerful techniques.
Okay.
One is to predefine your entry and exit points before you even enter the trade.
So you're basically setting your rules in advance, taking the emotion out of the equation when it comes to actually pulling the trigger.
Precisely. And another technique is to use limit orders, which automatically execute your trade at a predetermined price.
Oh, okay. That takes the pressure off having to like watch the market every second and trying to time your entry perfectly.
Right. It allows you to step back, let the market come to you, and avoid those impulsive decisions driven by fear or greed.
Okay, so we've covered entry and exit.
Yeah.
What about managing the trade once you're actually in it?
This is where discipline and patience really come into play, especially when the market throws you a curveball.
Because let's face it, no trade goes perfectly according to plan.
Right.
There are always unexpected twists and turns.
Exactly. And the source emphasizes the importance of sticking to your risk management plan even when things get emotional.
So not widening your stop loss just because you're feeling a little uncomfortable with the drawdown.
Right, because that can lead to a slippery slope of emotional decision-making and ultimately bigger losses.
It's like you're letting fear dictate your actions rather than sticking to your predefined strategy.
Exactly. And the source also highlights the importance of managing your expectations.
Because not every trade is going to be a home run.
Right. It's about celebrating those small wins, learning from the losses, and focusing on consistent execution over time.
So it's about playing the long game, not getting caught up in those short-term fluctuations.
Precisely. And this long-term perspective requires a shift in mindset.
Okay.
The source argues that successful traders view trading as a process, not a series of isolated events.
So it's about focusing on continuous improvement rather than chasing that one big win.
Exactly. It's about building a system that works for you, refining it over time, and trusting the process even when the market tests your patience.
This has been such a valuable deep dive. We've gone from the foundations of trading psychology to the nitty-gritty of technical analysis and execution.
It has.
But before we wrap up, I have one last question. Does the source offer any advice on how to stay motivated and avoid burnout, especially during those inevitable tough times?
That's a great question, and it's something that every trader struggles with at some point.
Yeah.
The source emphasizes the importance of setting realistic goals, taking breaks when needed, and finding joy in the process itself.
Because if you're not enjoying it, what's the point, right?
Exactly. And it also suggests surrounding yourself with a supportive community, whether it's fellow traders, mentors, or even family and friends who understand the challenges of trading.
So it's about acknowledging the human element of trading, finding that balance between the analytical and the emotional, and remembering that you're not in this alone.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And ultimately, that's what this deep dive has been all about. It's about empowering you, the listener, to approach trading with a balanced mindset, a solid set of tools, and the confidence to navigate the markets on your own terms.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of trading psychology and technical analysis. Remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Embrace the challenges, celebrate the wins, and never stop learning. Until next time, happy trading.